It's 1:29 a.m. on July 6, 2020. Earlier this evening, I was reviewing inspection reports or other reports from inspectors general of the Department of State. And at 11:55 p.m. Central Standard Time, July 5th, 2020, I put in a request for an investigation concerning Improper Payments Information Act of 2002 to see what, if any, correlations there may be with a case from Iran concerning an alleged intelligence system that was supposed to have been created by a third-party contractor named Pearl that had been adjudicated 10 years before the executive action that I allege actually financed the murder of Daniel Pearl in Pakistan. And what, if any, correlation it had to a manual that had been, or a manual that had been discussed in a report provided by an audit by the U.S. government concerning a military accounting system that was in its experimental stages, that I also referenced in a report I composed between January and February of 2017. Now, it's less than an hour and a half later. It's about an hour and a half later, and I just found from a congressional hearing on page 16. At a May 6, 1994 hearing, the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs, entitled "Is Military Research Hazardous to Veterans' Health? Lessons from World War II, the Persian Gulf, and Today," Mr. Mills testified, quote, "I had on an experimental mask, and the Navy was trying to determine if people wearing these masks could communicate with each other. I was enticed to sing over the intercom. No one ever told me that the mask became less effective against the gas with each use. We were sworn to secrecy. At the age of 43, I underwent a long series of radiation treatments and later surgery to remove part of my voice box and larynx. It didn't occur to me that my exposure to mustard gas was responsible for my physical problems until June 1991, when I read an article in my hometown newspaper. For the better part of the last year, I have been having problems with my voice files being changed or edited, or in the case now of at least 3 different instances when I have provided a response to my reading of a Supreme Court argument, it's just disappeared. It's muted. Nobody can hear it. I can't hear it. It's not there. And I've already found the components of the UCC, the commercial code, addressing voice files. I've done all the research I need to do on copywriting of voice files. If you've been using me to test nuclear weapons in the form of telemedication, then I want to know what the fuck you were doing letting the State Department set up an account on me when I was teaching children in Honduras, because there's an audit from the State Department for May 6th of 2015. That would be 21 years after this Senate committee report on Veterans Affairs. 21 years is usually the amount of time that one must respond in order to address matters concerning perpetuities. 21 years is very important. What the fuck were you doing following me to Honduras when I was teaching in a private school, minors in a private school, on the 21st anniversary of a Senate committee report on veterans' health matters that talks about experimental masks and exposure to mustard gas? See, the ironic thing is that also related to this is the murder of an attorney general, a case concerning patent law and patent proceedings for Toshiba, and a major investment firms reporting on investments with microprocessors that, by the way, are not Chinese. For the record, I was not aware of the correlations with my efforts at legal filing for January 16th and February 26th, and how it correlated with the first Gulf War both the air and the ground invasion. I was aware that the people I was addressing, it too, were in the midst of wielding a biological war on their own people, at least who were alleged to be their own people, in order to give them the authority to tell me that I needed to cede to their special order